Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today we're going to be looking at a Japanese band called Ningen Isu. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Now, never heard of them before, so obviously did a little bit of research, and there's actually quite a fair amount of information. So I tried to whittle it down to some more important factors. If you look at the Wikipedia page about them, there is a lot of information. But what I've got here is Ningen Isu, literally translates to the human chair, is a Japanese hard rock band from Hirosaki, formed in 1987, so they've been around for a very long time. It's formed by Shinji Wajima on guitars and vocals, and Kenichi Suzuki on bass and vocals. They took their name from the 1924 short story of the same name by Edogawa Rampo. Natives of Hirosaki, Wajima and Suzuki met in a local music salon when Suzuki lent Wajima a Kiss record around the time that they entered junior high school. Wajima listened to music more along the lines of the Beatles, King Crimson, Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, while Suzuki was into bands like Kiss, Saxon and Judas Priest. The two became close in 1981 when they entered the same high school, Hirosaki High School, and Suzuki was impressed by Wajima's talent for composing music and wrote a song called Demon, while Wajima wrote a song called, and I'm going to pronounce this horribly, I guarantee you, Tetsugoshi Mokushi Roku, which apparently translates to Apocalypse of Iron Grill. And this track was not taken very well by members of the musical salon, but Suzuki liked it very, very much. 2 years later, Wajima and Suzuki joined Shine Shine Dan, which means Dead Dead Group apparently, a band formed by members of the salon with whom they played hard rock music at some music festivals. In 1985, both Wajima and Suzuki entered different universities. Wajima went on to learn about Buddhism at the Komazawa University, and Suzuki went on to learn about Russian literature at Sofia University. They then formed a hard rock band whose name was changed to Ningen Isu in 1987, the same year that the drummer joined the band. They first gained popularity when they played the song Inju, which apparently means a strange beast, and they played that on the Japanese television program Ikesu Band Tengoku, which means Cool Band Heaven, apparently. In 1989, their heavy sounding, they played that in 1989 on the television program, and their heavy sound, unique lyrics full of literature took the judges by surprise. So a lot of their music is based around literature, and the song we're going to be looking at is no different. We're looking at a track called "The Color Out of Space," which is based on a H.P. Lovecraft short story, which is about an extraterrestrial force that arrives on Earth via a meteorite and infects a large area of Arkham, Massachusetts. So there's some information as to what this song is going to be about. Now, the song itself is sung in Japanese. I do have an English translation to the lyrics. This translation comes directly from under the video on YouTube, so it should be fairly accurate. But anyway, I've been going on for just over 4 minutes now, so it'll be about time that we jumped into this track to see what this is all about. So, Japanese hard rock, apparently. So, Ningen Isu, The Color Out of Space. Let's have a look. I've got to pause that there for. How very, very interesting. That's not what I expected at all. I mean, the look of the band is so very, very unusual, so very unique as well. I'm not quite sure where to go with that. I mean, it's just so unexpected and bizarre. Musically they're actually really good. There's almost sort of almost a hint of sort of prog metal, prog rock, prog metal to the sound of the music. But simple three-piece band. As far as I understand, it's been the same three band members throughout the entirety of the life of the band. So that's a good thing, and something that's very, very rare these days. As you might have seen from the video, I've actually got subtitles for this track as well, so you can kind of see the translation for yourself. But here we go. It says, travelling through the horrifying distance of time and space from the farthest parts of the universe, filled with disgusting signs, dark idiots come to our planet. Escaped out from the cycle of reincarnation, make nothing of dimensions. They scatter terrors, surfing on the phantom belt, trying to steal the earth. They tell us this is ascension, but in fact allude us to corruption. Pretending they are challenging the higher existence, seduce us into breaking taboos, whispering by telepathy. Couldn't get the word out there. Then it goes into that. It's a very sort of short, but very direct chorus that says, the colour out of space, the colour out from the underworld. Then goes back into, casting out maddening beams of light, they enjoy destruction, surrounding themselves with unearthly chill, devour our flesh and blood. Outside of the morals, on the edge of lunacy, laughing at our science, that's how it was translated, they dive into the wormhole, beat the hell out of our hopes, sipping dark matter, spread out disease, from Oort Cloud, bringing in vengeful ghosts from the Kuiper Belt. And then it goes back into that two-line chorus, the colour out of space, the colour out from the underworld. So, they're basically just telling the story of the colour out of space from H.P. Lovecraft. Obviously, some of the translation isn't actually that perfect, but you can still make sense out of what they're talking about. And, it's quite a fun song. The music is really actually quite good. The guitar work is great. You can hear the bass beautifully in the background, as I've said many times before, an instrument that is often sort of drowned out and, almost made inconsequential because you can very rarely hear it. So, yes, quite enjoying it so far. It's got a really strange sort of quality to it, but I actually quite like it. Let's carry on.
What's over you?
Well, there we go. That was that was incredibly interesting. A very, very strange band. They've obviously got a bit of a sense of humour behind the music that they create, and surrounding themselves, a bit silly, but still quite brilliant. Yeah, I mean, musically that was actually quite good. It was quite a catchy piece of music, very well executed. They got two different vocalists, so they do mix up the vocal styles ever so slightly. There's not a huge difference between the two vocal styles, but it is there. But oh, very interesting. And like I said before, a lot of their music apparently is based around literature, so that makes it very interesting to me. It's interesting topics to cover, especially if they're covering bands like H.P. Lovecraft. Excuse me. Now, the track carried on. Shapeless beings, nameless monsters, underworld, darkness, invisible evils, absolutely irredeemable, underworld, darkness. And then they hit that wicked little solo. I mean, it was only short, but you're still brilliantly executed. Then it came back in. They unleash the wickedness, spinning around the horoscope, sipping the void. They manipulate the spectrum, fiddling with galaxies from the sea of Tachyon. Bring out the nightmares all over from Gehenna. Then it goes into the chorus again. The colour out of space, the colour out from the underworld. Although at the end there, rather when it had the red tiles at the bottom, it said the colour from out of Hades. So there's maybe a slight mistranslation there as well. Then it did a slight variation of the chorus, and it said the colour out of space, the colour out from the darkness. And then it went back to the original, the colour out of space, the colour out from the underworld / Hades, if you will. So, and that was the end of the track. So, like I said, they're literally just covering the subject of Lovecraft's original story, giving a sort of brief synopsis as to what the story was about. And I think it was quite well done. Like I said, translation was not perfect, but it's the only one that I could find, and it did come directly from the video itself, as you could see the closed captions on the video as well, showing the very same translation that I had. So yeah, I actually quite like that. That was very strange, very unique. There's a very unique look to the band. I quite enjoyed that. Now I do know I actually have some other tracks of theirs to look at. I know I've got at least one or two more of theirs to look at, and I'm quite interested to have a look at those now, because this is not what I expected. It was quite enjoyable, quite catchy. For a simple three-piece band, they've got quite a decent sound to them. Like I said, you can really hear that bass coming through, which is almost a forgotten instrument most of the time. And the fact that these three band members, it's, as far as I'm aware, it's always been these three people since the band took on the name Ningen Isu back in 1987. So they've been around a long time. They've kept the band, the original lineup, together for a long time. So yeah, very interesting. I quite enjoyed that. Like I said, there was a little sort of silly element to the band. Yeah, that was. Yes. So Suzuki, the guy on the bass, especially, the bald guy, he certainly seemed to have more of the sort of humour of the band in the video. And I like the way the video is done as well. It was made to look like the old sort of Hammer horror movies, with those subtitles at the beginning, like darkness and extreme horror, and the way that they were written, the font that they used. It was done like the old horror movies, and I like that. I like the way this band presents itself. Very enjoyable. But I can't really think of much else to say about that. I think this is actually the second track I've ever reacted to that is based on that book, based on that story. I can't remember the other one, the color out of space. I'm sure there was another track that I've reacted to in the past. I can't think who it was, But I'm sure I did another track that was based on that track, The Colour Out of Space. But it's not unusual. Lovecraft is quite an invaluable source for inspiration, especially when it comes to horror and demons and ghouls, goblins, and stuff like that. So, and I do know there is a couple of bands I've looked at that are heavily inspired by Lovecraft. So, yes, very enjoyable, very strange. But I'll leave that as it is. If anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so. By all means, you can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you could even message me through my Patreon, where you could also help to support this channel, which would be a great help to me indeed in creating future content. Do know though, if you do make a suggestion, it might take me a while to get to it, since I get suggested so many tracks every single day that my list grows faster than I can record the videos. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so I will get around to it eventually. It just might take me a while to get to it. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes, mainly those revolving around people of the alternative community. Obviously, they want to put an end to all hate crimes, but their main focus is the people of the alternative community, since that's how the foundation came into being. And it's something that I agree with, something I'm very passionate about, something I feel very strongly about, because it's something that I've had to deal with for a large portion of my life, and many of my friends have had to go through this sort of thing as well. Where people of the alternative community are getting violently attacked, physically and verbally attacked, just purely because we have a different taste in music to everybody else. Most normal people will listen to like chart music, hip hop, what have you, but because what we listen to isn't deemed normal by society, we're attacked for it, and it doesn't make sense to me. Attacking someone because of their taste in music is just absurd. I mean, it accomplishes nothing for a start. What are you hoping to get from this? Violently attacking someone because they've got a different taste in music isn't going to change their mind. They're not going to suddenly change their taste in music because you beat them up. It makes no sense. And I mean, just the sheer logic of it by itself, violently attacking someone because they like different music to you, it's just ridiculous. What impact does it really have on your life, what music someone listens to? If they're blasting their music in your face, then I can understand you getting a bit upset. But to, physically attack someone because they have a different taste in music to you it's just absurd. You don't beat someone up because they like different movies to you, do you? You don't attack someone because they like different TV shows. It's ridiculous. But it's a very real problem because people are getting very, very badly hurt. People are getting hospitalised. People are getting bones broken. People are getting severe injuries like concussions and stuff like that just because someone doesn't like their taste in music. And when you actually say it out loud, it just sounds ridiculous. But it's a very real problem. And, it never gets spoken about, which is, it's something that needs to be addressed. This sort of thing never gets spoken about unless a tragedy occurs. A few years ago, or several years ago, there was this punk in America who got intentionally run down by a car. This guy purposefully hit him with a car and killed him outright because he was a punk. But the thing is, the guy who was driving the car basically got away with it because he was one of these sort of high school football jock type people, and the judge didn't want to ruin his future career by sending him to prison. And after all, it was only a punk. What the hell? It doesn't matter what music the guy was listening to. He was murdered because this guy didn't like the music he listened to. It's absolutely obscene that was allowed to happen. And you look at the situation with Sophie Lancaster. Her and her boyfriend, Rob Maltby, minding their own business, walking home, are attacked by a group of people. 5 or 6 people. 5, 6 people against 2, getting jumped by this group, and they were viciously, violently attacked. You know, they were beaten, kicked, punched. They had their heads stamped on, for crying out loud. And they were beaten so viciously that both of them ended up in comas. Rob Maltby, thankfully, he survived. He came out of the coma after a matter of days. I think he was in there for maybe about a week. I can't be exactly sure. But Sophie Lancaster was in a coma for 13 days before she eventually died. Now, this young girl, she was about 20 years old, I think, was violently attacked. She was murdered because of her taste in music. You know, beating someone to death because of their taste in music is absolutely ridiculous. And this happened maybe about 13 years ago. And I believe in a couple of days' time she would have been 33. I think on the 26th she would have been 33 years old. You know, it's absolutely disgusting that this happened, but I guarantee you, in that time frame, since she was so brutally murdered, in that 13 years since that happened, I guarantee you thousands more people have been violently attacked, even hospitalised, just because of their taste in music. It is a very real problem, but it's not getting talked about nearly enough. You know, unless someone dies, no one talks about it, and that needs to change. And this is what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They want to bring more recognition to the fact that this is happening. They want to make people more aware that this sort of thing is happening, because it is unacceptable that it is going on and, you know, is getting largely ignored. You know, they don't want to see another family go through what they went through when they had to watch their daughter die just because of a group of small-minded morons who can't accept the fact that everybody has the right to be an individual, to the fact that everybody is allowed to have their own individual tastes. You know, you don't see us violently attacking people who listen to chant music, do you? You know, we accept the fact that they like their music. That's their choice. None of our business. Let them get on with it. So why do these other people find it acceptable to attack us because we listen to different music? It is not acceptable. It needs to stop. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can pop over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their goal is, because they can explain it a lot better than I can. And if you can help them out in any small way, obviously you don't feel like you have to, but if you can help them out in any small way, that would be hugely appreciated, because the smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And, you know, the sooner we bring more attention to this, the sooner we can help to stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
a